we've done over the years trying to secure that is actually not coming to fruition in the way I thought it would do. It might be because of the cuts in legal aid and cuts in legal practices that have gone on and the cuts in the voluntary sector, but we need to do a job of work now of making sure people know about their legal rights, who the best firms to contact, who are the specialist firms to contact. We've seen one tonight about legal representation. The second issue then is when people do get prosecuted, I agree with the solidarity actions are turning up in court and all the rest, I think are important, but if they do go down, I think it's critically important that people aren't left isolated and that people do sort out visits both to their family and to people who are inside as well at different times. And they're given practical aid and assistance as well in terms of supporting them while they're inside. The other issue then I also think is it's important that we disseminate as widely as possible what's happening. Because although there's been some good media coverage and the YouTube and the use of the new media has been absolutely brilliant, it's still a relatively small number of people still who are aware of just how far it's going. And when there's breakthroughs, and UK Uncut have just been fantastic, when there are breakthroughs like the UK Uncut description and filming of what happened when they used the mace on the demonstrators in Oxford Street, when that gets out to a wider audience of civilians, if you like, people who have never been involved in demonstrations, there's a real reaction about what the hell's going on. This isn't what we expected. And I think we're building support then against, in terms of campaigning against the actions of the police then. The other issue, let me just say this also. Don't expect government is going to sit there and take it as well. What they're looking at now, as you know, is they're worried about occupations, so they're bringing forward, Kenneth Clarke now is bringing forward the review of squatting legislation, squatting laws. And it's important that we get the message out during that consultation period about what this means. This isn't just about a few people squatting in rich people's houses, although that's justifiable with the homeless crisis that we've got. This is about preventing occupations as well. The other issue is just finally, as you know, what we're doing now is working for coordinated industrial action. On June the 30th, we'll have a number of trade unions coming out for the first time on mass coordinated action, for the first time in maybe a generation. RMT are trying to build up, as you know, working constructively with Bob, to ensure that other action is taken as best they can to coordinate that and build it. What the government is now thinking, as there was a debate in Parliament last week, the Tory backbench are floating the idea, is looking at further anti-trade union legislation as well. So what we'll see, I think, in this coming period is the government relying upon the police and the security services to intimidate and prevent as much protest as they possibly can, but then also looking at a new raft of legislation possibly on civil liberties, on squatting, and also on industrial action. It's important that everyone sees that as the same struggle. You know, the industrial action is not isolated from the civil liberties protests or for the UK Uncut Tax Justice campaign. It's all part of a piece. And the most important thing, therefore, I'll just say this, is to provide solidarity wherever you possibly can. So if it is a demonstration, we try and get as many trade unions onto the demonstration. If there is a picket line, we join the picket lines as well. Finally, I'll do my best with Jeremy Corbyn and others, who's just absolutely brilliant man, to raise these issues in Parliament. Don't expect an awful lot of support within Parliament itself, but you might want to think there's Parliament as a focus for some protest activity in the future. When we did the climate camp and actually the Bromway campaign, I got blamed for people going on the route. I didn't actually do it, but anyway, I think it's important that we let MPs know, both in their constituencies, both and in Parliament as well,